Happy Saturday, and welcome to the Rama from Satsang Weekend Workshop, where you'll learn a modern Satsang method for obtaining peace, light, and love in your life. My name is Eddie, and I will be introducing the facilitator for today's event. But first, I'd like to give you a brief overview of this Satsang session. If you'll direct your attention towards your screen, you'll see the first element is Satsang. Satsang is a scientific method whereby we may obtain peace, light, and love in our life. It requires no physical skill, spiritual accomplishment, or meditation experience to begin its practice. Satsang consists of two words, Sat and Sang. Sat means positive energy, and Sang means to be with or to be in the presence of. Therefore, the word Satsang means to be in the presence of positive energy. The next element is meditation. Meditation is an important part of Satsang. When we meditate, we withdraw consciousness from worldly objects and direct it inwards to focus on a single thought. In doing so, our minds become calm and our thoughts become pure, thereby allowing us to obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. Inner orientation. There are two types of Satsang, inner Satsang and outer Satsang. An example of outer Satsang would be chanting or attending pilgrimages. When we practice outer Satsang, we have the potential to change our behavior, but only through the practice of inner Satsang can we obtain higher states of consciousness, such as enlightenment, peace, light, and love. The Satsang that you will learn today is an inner Satsang where we meditate in silence. Group session. These weekend workshops are structured for group participation. When we meditate as a group, our focus is improved and our personal progress along our spiritual path is expedited. By regularly attending these weekend workshops, the benefits of group participation are amplified. Joy and inner happiness. All beings wish to experience joy. Joy is the eternal longing of the soul. But only through the practice of inner Satsang can we obtain a joyous state. Each time we practice Satsang, our inner happiness gradually increases, ultimately culminating in a state of joy, which we experience 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. The agenda for today consists of 3 sessions: the informative session, the practice session, and the interactive session. During the informative session, a lecture will be given about a Satsang topic, the founder, or some relevant spiritual topic. During the practice session, you'll receive instructions on how to meditate, followed by a period of practice. During the interactive session, you have the opportunity to ask questions, or there'll be a panel discussion. And now, I'd like to introduce the facilitator for today's event. He has over 40 years of Satsang experience. He's the grandson of Guru Maharaj, the founder of Ramashram Satsang. He was born into a Satsang family where he experienced his family members obtain states of enlightenment and lead lives of peace, light, and love. At an early age, he began traveling with the mission throughout India, facilitating satsangs. And during that time, he witnessed the positive effects that satsang could have on mankind. And upon arriving to the United States, both he and his wife continued to facilitate satsangs for local satsangees. He has led teams of satsang members in translating important satsang literature into English, and has worked tirelessly to make satsang more accessible to Western and English-speaking audiences. He currently travels throughout the United States, India, and England, facilitating satsangs while maintaining his duties as a husband, a father, and an IT executive. Today, he will lead us in a rare and ancient form of satsang as taught by Guru Maharaj. Please join me in welcoming Mr. Sanjeev Kumarji.
So happy Saturday, everyone. Glad that we all are here. Incidentally, tomorrow is my father's birthday. So I have been, I was listening to some of, especially like there is one discourse that he gave on love, and how that needs to be intertwined into um, a satsangi community. And after, so, and I'll talk about that a little bit, what I heard. There will be always something lost in translation, but also last week I was talking about, creating a beginners community so that we can uh, help each other in terms of understanding, how to integrate meditation in our lifestyle. Um, and, after through the pandemic, so several years, we have been doing these online sessions. I mean, for me, these sessions are a lifeline. So I always feel that just having this collective energy every week, or a couple of times a week, that's just awesome. But I want to take a few things that are missing, and there are a bunch of them, that were integrally part of this practice as it evolved through, the century. My grandfather established Ramashram Satsang Mathura in 1930, and since then, organically evolved this process. So, I want to basically create a community that helps each other out in building a practice that, and you could choose, you just want to calm your mind, or you just want to achieve some health benefits, or you want to take a further step and create these mental capabilities and mental powers that concentration brings, or you want to go even further up to achieve, call it self-realization, salvation, it's, enlightenment, whatever. I've seen all those three outcomes are very viable. Takes, time and effort and appropriate level of, it's like you have to read or listen or watch the videos and then understand and then implement. If you continue to do some of that. So one of the biggest challenges I think I've realized is like who we are, what is satsang, how you meditate within this context, because it's fairly unique. What are the benefits? And then at the end, how do you build a practice around it? What are the resources? So creating this community which would have ample number of resources attached to it, I think would be, should have been done already. But I think now I'm actually heads down working towards that. So hopefully next year we will see that, upfront and evolving through the year. So now let me talk about this. So in a way, I'm remembering my father. He definitely gave me all the freedom, in the sense, never pressured me, but still, born in this satsang family. As a family, we used to go to a lot of these, bhandaras, which are urban retreats at various places in India. So in one of his talks, he talks about um, love. Um, so love amongst the satsangis is key. As the collective energy of the tribe is essential in each other's growth and the collective experience during these group sessions. So that is one of the reasons why I want to refocus my energy to creating that community, um, you know, that meets online, but also works towards periodically meeting in person. Um, you know, so going back to his discussion, so he basically quoted Guru Maharaj's guru, Lalaji Maharaj. Um, so Lalaji Maharaj instructed Guru Maharaj and said, you need to, um, as you grow this practice, as you share what you are, what you have learned, uh, he said, like, these three things are very important. So the first one, which is another very, very intriguing and interesting point, and I think over decades, I have felt that lots of people, even who are very deeply ingrained into the satsang philosophy, um, get very confused about this concept. And this, I think, is an essence of this practice, but it's also its uniqueness and could potentially lead to some misunderstandings. So the first thing he said, there is no guru or disciple in our satsang. So there is no guru disciple concept. So while everybody calls my grandfather Guru Maharaj, and he had his guru, uh, and so this may be just a statement. As we know, Guru Maharaj is how everyone referred to my grandfather, and he named. So my grandfather named the satsang after his guru Ramchandraji. So Lalaji Maharaj, his guru, uh, his name was Ramachandra. So Ramchandji Maharaj, so Ramashram. So Ram's ashram or Ram's home. So Ramashram satsang, and Mathura, because my grandfather moved to Mathura. So because there were multiple Ramashram satsangs that came out from the thread Guru Maharaj's guru started. So Ramashram Satsang Mathura is based on his guru's name. So the reason for taking away the concept of guru is key in understanding this satsang. So love amongst each other and with the leaders will make you reach the goal. The guru disciple traditions had extremely strict codes, very strict code, and hence there was this I am so if there is one guru and there's disciple has to follow those protocols and all that. Both Guru Maharaj and his guru felt that this is becoming obsolete in today's culture. So so most satsangis actually called my grandfather Chacha or uncle or Bhai Sahab, brother, father, even friend. Um, so, uh, so the concept still remains the same in the sense that people would come to understand the spiritual nuances and meditative practices. But the concept changed a little bit in the sense the bond ought to be strong. And if the bond between the two is strong, then what one knows will be passed to the other. So same thing that used to happen in the guru disciple method. So here, Guru Maharaj kind of created a more family-like atmosphere. You come in when you want, you go when you want, you uh, dedicate yourself to the practice when you want. Sometimes it's not that, and all that just like, sometimes dysfunctional families, but it's still the bond remains, still the relationship remains, and you evolve with that. So very interesting, and people still, uh, you know, uh, just so after my grandfather, my grandmother, my eldest uncle, my one of the most ardent and dedicated follower of Guru Maharaj, Panditji Maharaj, they all served and helped people with the practice, and they shared freely. So so this whole thing was to make almost like a social network rather than a hierarchical approach. Um, the second thing in the instructions was guide everyone and share what you know freely. Help everyone without prejudice and irrespective of what you know they follow, what religion they are, where they're coming from, etc. So that was another guiding principle that the Guru Maharaj instructed Guru Maharaj to follow. And uh, and then the last one was even the most intriguing and the most characteristics of this satsang was love everyone so much that everyone connects with you and you care for everyone. So essentially everyone become yours and you become everyone's, because uh, and in that you know Father kind of goes further and says that pure divine love is God. So essentially three things. There is no guru or disciple concept here. Uh, a, the leaders here are supposed to guide everyone and share what they know freely, and love everyone so much that everyone connects with you and you will care for everyone. But this, I think, these three things should be um, the driving, uh, like you know, commandments for the community we create. Uh, you know, just it should be somebody may be advanced, somebody may be new, but you help each other, right? Freely, and connect with everyone, care for everyone, and that's what should be the satsangi culture or the satsang culture. That's the so how do we do that is uh, again, I mean, if you meditate on this with this practice, if you again, it's very, very open and flexible in the sense that they never said that you don't chant or you don't discuss this or read this or um, you know if you follow other things, vipassana or Reiki or mindfulness, all that, um, this practice and is so deep that it will help anything else that you do as well, including, if you have better control on your mind, your workouts, your eating habits, your other aspects of life in terms of behavior, all that will get better. And in this discussion about love, so pure, selfless, unconditional love is hard to fathom these days. Um, so, in this discourse, my father was talking about, first, there is always this, call it worldly, materialistic aspect, but, quote unquote, selfish love. While there are many worldly expressions and talks about eternal love and devotion and all that, but we get attached to uh, people, things, and that's where, uh, in Hindi it's called rag. So from rag to anurag, which is like selfish love to selfless love. So um, how do you, how does that journey look like to uh, you know uh, be in a very materialistic uh, set of attachments? um, uh, you know but what happens is that uh, the world keeps changing, and hence our expectations and expressions keep changing. So once, let's say, there was a deep and unwavering love um, with someone or with something, but that disappears in a moment, sometimes converting to a dislike or even hate. Sometimes it hurts, causing other side effects. So what happens is that world keeps changing. If we love, you know a as the person or the situation keeps changing, uh, you know our expression and our expectation continues to change as well. And that is why, um, you know when these things change, sometimes we step back and we say, you know uh, there ought to be something that needs to be, like, call it a higher love, right? um, and once we realize that how fragile our lives are, how temporary worldly things are, um, you know and when some of these things could trigger us to look towards a higher purpose, a higher love, a longing for everlasting love that's deep and pure. And essentially, that, deep and pure, unconditional, selfless love is God. So, my father mentioned that before a selfish, worldly love converts to a selfless, unconditional, divine love, there is a state of detachment or disenchantment. So that's the time when you really need meditation, and that is when a true meditative practice could potentially evolve. And that's when you realize that you need to, uh, you know, um, get a better purpose in life, and get to a higher state. So rag, virag, and anurag. So basically, selfish love, a state of detachment, and then, essentially the um, selfless, unconditional, uh, pure. Uh, so at the higher realms, love extends to incorporate everyone, all humans, all conscious beings, even nature. You connect with all that in a whole new way. So, uh, you know, and that's what, you believe this way, that way, but that itself is believing in God, this pure, selfless, higher love. This state connects you. So I think it all then converts to, um, when you get to this higher state, higher love, this state connects you with this transcendental energy. So transcends the energy that transcends the world, love that transcends the world. That's when you connect with this transcendental energy, which, and then you realize that that energy is everywhere in every conscious being. And you know realizing that, knowing that, and experiencing it, that could be the target state for satsang. And those who have achieved that state, fortunately, I have had close encounters with those people, and that's why I feel that this is really worth pursuing, because that experience is beyond expression. And what we do is, these discussions, talks, and everything is just to get you in this state where you are ready to practice this deep silent meditation. This is part of transition in. Now we will take help of some music, which helps the concentration. And all sessions start with instructions. So let's get into that. Step one is, still and relaxed posture. Extremely important, because every time your body moves, your mind moves with it. So we want to minimize the distractions of the mind. And for the same reason, you want to close your eyes lightly. So eyes lightly closed, observe your body, that it's still and totally relaxed posture. So there is no strain that will take away your concentration or attention. So that all is inward orientation, which is step one. And step two is concentration. So what to concentrate on? What do we want to manifest? And that's this transcendental energy. So you start with that manifestation or imagination that this transcendental energy is right here, right now with us, and we're connecting with it. So basically, this transcendental energy is in form of light. The light is entering our heart, distributing throughout our body, and that we're becoming one with this light. When mind wanders away, which it will, again, inward orientation, bring it back to this thought and this thought alone. So the process is bringing our mind, which is moving from one thought to another, to concentrate on one thought. And that thought also, so it's not an activity, it's just observing this transcendental energy in form of light that's entering our heart, distributing throughout our body, and we're becoming one with this light. And so we start with music, just continue this focus of observing this transcendental energy in form of light, that it's entering your heart, distributing throughout your body, and you're becoming one with this light. And music will fade away. We'll go in deep silent meditation. And, once your practice evolves, higher consciousness results just by doing this. So let's start now. Happy Saturday, everyone. I think as I was talking about like creating this community, so you will probably get an invite where um, the whole focus is like how to build individual practice, and then create resources around, daily meditation support system, um, you know, the concepts of satsang, how to meditate itself, what are the benefits, and then who we are in terms of the heritage and all that. Um, but then also, you know, a orientation session, an orientation course, which will, bring some of this together. Um, so I was, given my father's birthday tomorrow, I was just thinking, if I look back, he was a professor in chemistry, and interestingly, he was far more busy after retirement, uh, and was traveling and helping people to build this practice. Um, you know, and in a way that there was no uh, expectation of return. He actually, I remember I asked him, so in India, like summertime and wintertime, it's, uh, like traveling was not as easy as around here. So uh, in even before retirement, he was like, "Oh, I get only, holidays in summer and winter, so I travel during that time." So I asked him, like, "Why do you travel in the worst time possible?" And he said, till I retire, at least, I will only have, you know, those windows to travel more. Otherwise, he used to travel in between as well, but in summer and winter, he used to take um, long tours. And he used to say that it's because people who cannot travel to the events that he does in his hometown and nearby, he wants to go and continue to help people out. And I remember uh, in some villages in Bihar, in the northern state in India, he would travel. The entire village was practicing satsang, and the entire village was satsangi. And they, some of those folks, when I meet today, they still remember as it was yesterday. And uh, you know and it's and the practice, the love, um, the whole experience, uh, you know people continue to describe. It's phenomenal. um, so let's uh, just open it up before we wrap up. Um, so today we have a bunch of folks in London. So hi to everyone there. Namaskar. Um, and so Liz, Eddie, Anita ji, Arvind ji.
Good morning and good afternoon to wherever you are. Happy Saturday.
Yeah, it's 3 p.m. in London. Yeah. Or now 4. It started at 3.
As always, it was wonderful to meditate with you all. And I liked what the processes, or I liked what you were talking about in the beginning. You know, I think you were relating it to how your grandfather structured, you know, these kinds of sessions or practices for those who were joining him in them. Sort of the idea that, beginner as well as experience can do this together and learn together. The idea of not having a guru necessarily, although I do think having an experienced person lead isn't a bad thing, of course. Um, I know that a lot of people don't, I mean, some people don't like that. They don't want like a figurehead. But I personally always have found leadership in the spiritual realm important. Obviously, a pure leader, not someone who's
Yeah.
taking advantage. Which
No, and
that's
and
yeah.
and interestingly, that has always been the case. So I have throughout my life I had, but instead of like um, it was, I think, the change in which how you interact with leaders. So leaders don't change their names, their attire, their titles, all that. It's just you are a person, I'm a person, normal persons can achieve enlightenment. I am maybe I'm close, so nobody says that, but some might be a little closer than others, but so what, right? The more closer you get, the more love you should embody, right?
Right. Yeah. Right.
Yeah, interesting. Very, very, very interesting concept. I think most of the people who have been in this for decades still, kind of, I find they either struggle that why don't I have one guru in this satsang, or why don't I, uh, why am I not told that upfront, etc. All the uh, pieces of the puzzle are in place. So it's not that it's, leaders had always been there, probably will be there, but the way it is structured and the way it is, it evolves, I think, is interesting.
Yeah. I mean, just that was only one aspect of what you had said. You'd also said,
Yeah,
oh
it
my,
was.
sorry.
There were three things, I think, and this was Lalaji Maharaj, Guru Maharaj's guru, telling him that one, so basically, you don't need to become a guru. You just, um, you can create a spiritual, family oriented relationship and just share what you know. So freely share. So the second was freely share what you know with everyone without any prejudice. And the third one was love everyone, connect with everyone, care, uh, about everyone. So everyone,
Those two are
right?
those two are obviously great. I mean, there's no question, no debate on those 2 points. I mean, the only thing with the giving freely is you will always have a subset of people who will always be suspicious of that. Like, whoa, what did I look in
Right.
for? What, there must be some payoff for them. I have friends like that,
Yeah.
but I think that is good. On in every faith-based system, giving freely is good, right? Like in the Buddhist and Hindu, I mean, I'm just from the little I know, it's good karma. From the Christian tradition, it's good to give. It's a form of charity, which is always a treasured thing in Christianity, as it is in every faith. So free giving of such a gift is extremely important. That is,
I mean,
yes.
like when these 3-day retreats happen, I mean, all the satsangis come together and they, uh, you know, make arrangements, food is free, and all that happens. So it's not that, um, you know, uh, these things don't work without money flowing through, but it's those sessions are not charged. The food is not charged, right?
It's
And
not commercial. It's
yeah,
not for a profit. It's for the collective good.
yep, yep.
Well, I'll stop now. And unfortunately, I have to run, but I might stick around for one or two other comments because your comments are always helpful. But I have something now that I do after this.
Sure
I'm
thing.
trying to figure out how the schedule will work because I love hearing what you all have to say. So, but I'll bow out now. Thank you.
Thank you. So Arvindji,
Namaskar, Bhaiya, and happy Saturday, everybody. Thank you, Bhaiya, for reminding us of Param Puja Papa Ji, his grace, his blessings, his love, all with all of us. And he truly exemplified selfless service and selfless love. And those of us who've been very fortunate, the word is beyond fortunate, to have even a drop of his grace and blessing and his love, it'll carry us through the whole life. I know it will me. That's all one needs. Rest is drama. And the one thing I just remember what he said was, like be like a hotel manager in this world. In the morning, you come, get a bunch of keys, and you're doing the hotel, all the jobs, your appointments, your work, family, all commitments. In the evening, next shift, give the keys, off you go. So may his blessings and grace be with all of us. Namaskar, Bhaiya.
Namaskar. So Minnie, anybody wants to share anything from there? There you go.
Yeah, I'd like to also.
Yeah, go ahead, Eddie. Yeah.
I'd like to also express my gratitude to your father as well, and everyone else today and tomorrow, because it's so important for people to dedicate themselves to preserving this light and then sharing it with others. Without that, we wouldn't be here today. People weren't dedicated to that mission. And so, I certainly appreciate the work that he's done, as well as the other leaders of Ramashram Satsang. And, so happy birthday to him. And then on your topic today, sort of about growing the community, I think that's a very important concept. We're raised in a family. We're raised in our various religious groups, and they all help us to learn to love others within our smaller groups, our smaller communities, with, I believe, the hope that we'll spread that love to the larger communities as we become more mature at this business of loving. And, I think that's a fundamental thing about being a human being. Mm-hmm. Is that we start out in these smaller groups and we learn how to love in those smaller groups, and then we spread it to the world around us. So, it's very, when you were talking, I was just thinking about that the whole time. And so I think that's a very important lesson that you gave us today. And, something I keep in the back of my mind, and hopefully I'll be able to implement that, throughout my life. But it was a very good message today. And so thank you for that.
So Eddie, I'll pick up on one of your lines here, though. It's like we all learn love in some smaller groups, including like a smaller family. However, a lot of us get stuck in that mode. So it's like some of us never grow out of that small group. The thing is, even as I'm learning this process, what I realize is that coming out of these quote unquote attachments, or, I feel, it's my connection with this and my connection with this. So geographically, demographically, just because I was born in a certain place, in a certain religion, in a certain, color, is that what defines me? So I think it's the process of, the process of surrender, a process of, going beyond your own ego, is to go from being limited to limitless, to understand that you are not confined, but you are part of the universe. And the whole concept of transcendental energy is that you are even beyond that. Yeah, I mean, it's this traveling from one state to another, the materialistic love to a selfless, unconditional love, I think is a very, very tough road, and very few cut over, unfortunately. Which is why we need to help each other and get help from the powerful ones. Oh, well. All right. Hey, Steve, how are you? Camilla? Taru and Donna.
Yeah, so last night I went to a basketball game. I used to coach high school basketball for many years, and one of my, I guess it'd be my adversary. I wouldn't consider him an adversary. I'd consider him a friend. But he had recently been diagnosed with brain cancer, and he's been receiving treatments. And he was recognized before the game last night, and there were just a lot of people's lives that he impacted, and the introduction and the recognition brought him to tears, and it was just it was a pretty moving moment, because I just remember when we were young, and it just makes me think about how fast life goes, and it doesn't matter about winning games. It's about helping people and teaching them about a sense of community that's important, and those things last and transcend. So it was just it was a good evening.
Yeah, I think you have summed it up, everything we were talking about here. Yeah. So on that note, be the light, embody the love, and once that light and love comes together in our lives, that's when peace, because wisdom and joy leads to peace. So achieve that state and help each other achieve that state. It's the collective energy works wonders, definitely. So see you all soon, and have a great week ahead, and hopefully we'll be back here pretty soon. Thank you.
Thank you, Sanjeev ji. Have a good day, everyone.